everybody to the Dr. Jane Live Miracle Medicine on a Thursday. And today we are preparing to talk about minerals again. I'm repeating it, and I'm looking specifically at their role in charging the body, and today with emphasis on alkalinizing the body. So, put your hand up if your body's acidic, and almost every single person will do this. We're living in stressful times, and lots of cortisol is being secreted every day. Lots of adrenaline is being secreted every day. We're eating on the run. We're not hydrating enough. We've got our backpack of rocks holding all our holistic, ancestral, generational patterns. And we are exploring life, looking at the opportunities, sometimes seeing things as mistakes, challenges, and blaming people. And in the meantime, we should be getting on with our life. We should be nice and alkaline, full of oxygen, and with balanced organs. So today I'm going to put together one of the major aspects of being human and of living the life you came to live. And more importantly, looking specifically then at the minerals, and as I said, the alkalinity of the body, and also the oxygenation of the body. So let me just start with some of the slides here, and I'm going to be sharing a lot with you today, and looking at the nutritional minerals. So if we have a look here, this is just me. I'm going to remind you of certain things. So I've got some qualifications there, but my center, we do the quantum medical consultations, live blood analysis, acupuncture, nutritional oxygen IV therapy, that's at our chronic disease clinic, immunology, genetics, nutrition, and homeotoxicology, Bach flower remedies, and then the holistic ancestral orientation and the holistic business orientation. And where we look at the release of generational patterns, we lift the handbrake that's holding us back. And at these 365 Healthy by Choice nutritionally dense range of products, Almost Gold is our flagship, and more on that later, but that is our gold, silver, copper, nickel, platinum, precious metal minerals. More minerals we look at, more oils we have in our toolkit, proteins, fermented live probiotics, superfoods, super herbs, and our paramagnetic rock dust. So that was just, I wanted to remind you all, in Bryanston here, but the center is a 24/7 global quantum medicine link up anyway. We're using the NQB, the sort of Apple 17 of the SKIO, if you like. It is the latest. It is on another level, never been repeated like this, and probably won't be able to be in the near future. There's nothing in existence like it. And we're sort of coming back from 100 years into the future. Imagine. So we're using that with the quantum state nutrients, with the diagnostic elements that I've just mentioned to you, and we put together the Mackenzie HIELO Quantum Wellbeing Compass. And that is what is bringing us the case studies, the testimonies, and the results that we're getting. And everybody is unique, and we have to work with that as a basis and give you what you need, not what we think you need. And all of this happens in the wonderful holistic quantum universal field, also known as the morphogenic field, and many other names too. So bear that in mind when I'm talking. It's holistic quantum medicine always, and looking at physical, neurological, emotional, and spiritual aspects. And interdimensionally, I'm going to add, because in the quantum field, everything is there. So it helps us discern between everyday experiential life here on Earth, which is duality, and it's linear, versus the existential field, the quantum field, which is non-linear and existential, as I say. And that's working with scalar waves. And that is the quantum medicine. That's the torsion field. And you can read in my doctorate, a multidimensional holistic quantum well-being framework, which is the HIELO. So with that introduction, let's move on. And the importance of minerals. So please do have a look at last week's presentation on minerals. I'm going to glance through some of them again today, but I went through mineral by mineral. And honestly, we can't live without minerals. Even breatharians get minerals. They absorb them through their skin, through their feet on the ground. They breathe them in. All the cosmic dust full of minerals. We come from minerals. We're going to go back to minerals. All we have to do is make sure that our body is alkaline and full of oxygen. The rest will take care of itself. The microbes won't die if you're alkaline and you full of oxygen. They'll die if you're not. That's why we're having to constantly replace, constantly work on our digestion and our absorption, constantly work on our acid-alkaline balance, constantly work on organs that are going out of alignment, systems that are going out of alignment. And, if you think about it, I'm not sure that is the life we came to live. We came to live a life of flow, of harmony, of being in sync with ourselves, first of all, with the world, nature, animals, plants, the cosmos, and to self-discover and to walk on this planet lightly and not pollute it in the way we are. And I firmly believe that. And that's, if these are out of alignment and discord, we've moved out of the yin-yang balance. We've moved out of the quantum field, basically. And that's when the trauma comes in, and that's when we struggle. So, my endeavors with people are to restore this natural balance, this natural happiness and harmony through the yin and yang in the quantum medical field. And, I am a quantum medicine doctor for that reason, and that was why I did extra studies to do this. I've got 3 quantum medical biofeedback devices, and many other ones that do, less than that, but also incredibly important in terms of assessment, the Q450. So if what I speak to you about resonates, and I know many of you do, stick with me, because this is where we're going, and I learn from you and you learn from me. And I'm very grateful for that. And I do honor all of you who have trusted the quantum well-being framework that I put through, the compass, the HIELO Compass, and everything that goes with us. And I even put in the post today to invite your friends. So please feel free to invite your friends. Feel free to post the recordings on, so that more and more people can get electrified and enthusiastic and full of life force. Life force and energy is our currency. And from that basis, the world is our oyster. We can reach anywhere. So this does require practice. It does require, the art and the science of health and healing. And at the end of the day, it's our well-being. And how can we, have a well-being reading of 10 out of 10 according to our own barometer if we're eating poisonous food and thinking poisonous thoughts and doing poisonous things? That just doesn't make sense. So we always in permanent reset. That's how I see myself. And in permanent self-development, permanent self-improvement. And, I really think I've been able to summarize all of this and put it into a nutshell for a lot of you. And myself, most importantly and firstly. So I do share this. So when we're looking at minerals and life force and vitality, that's what we're talking about. And there's no big secret here. That's what we do for people. We educate and we show them how to do it. They take the pure, natural, and unique food state, plant-based, quantum state, nutrient-dense nutrients that we have, DNA intact, intelligence of the plants intact, all the microbes. And the body receives this immediately because the body wants to be and is in the quantum state anyway. And the nutrients get busy and the body heals itself. There's no one bottle or one practitioner that's going to heal you. You will heal you. And therefore, it's just really the tools to do that. So, as we deepen, this has been a busy year, a fast-paced year, and I'm sure you've all gained and grown. There's an insurmountable number now of educational videos on my YouTube channel, Dr. Jane Mackenzie, and you can use the search bar, and I urge you to if you want to learn more, a lot of it's on there. And I mean, these recordings are way before COVID even. So that doesn't matter. I'm just saying nothing's changed. History is history. It is what it is. And the body is the body. We still take 9 months for birth. Can't change that. That is what it is. So that's what I'm saying. We have to work with nature and what is. And that is the quantum field. And as I said last week and now, we come from minerals. We're going to go back into minerals. But we want to have our minerals at a much higher charge than when we came in. We want to have used them and increase the energy field of the earth at the end of the day. They say leave only footprints. Well, leave only highly charged minerals is what I say. So when we're looking at charging the body and raising our life force, our currency, the prana, the chi, electrons do this. They charge the battery. And if you remember from science, the electrons are in orbit, circling around a proton and a neutron. And the more tightly bound the electrons are to that neutron and the proton, the more close proximity, the higher the life force. So, for example, flaxseed oil has the highest life force of all the oils. That's just a fact. I use it medicinally because of that fact, and it's got its properties. Go and use the search bar on my YouTube channel. You'll find it all. And that goes for other foods as well. For example, the spirulinas, the pollens, the blue-green algae, medicinal mushrooms, organic sprouts, nuts, fruits, all have a much higher life force than, not disrespectfully, but than plain lettuce and plain meat and plain dairy and plain, even more plain cakes and things. So you want to constantly be feeding your body orally, maybe not orally, using the earth, using the sun, using the cosmic dust, creating your own inner alchemy, your own inner pharmacy, your own inner nourishment, doing things you love. That's nourishment. Being with people you love is nourishment. Self-development is nourishment. So when we look at food, it's the grossest form of obtaining energy. And the question I'm asking myself is, am I eating for taste or am I eating for nutrient value? Because the nutrient value out there is higher than what I'm consuming. So the nutrient value from the protons, the electrons from the earth, the cosmic dust, the electrons from the nature have a much higher life force than direct food. Anyway, I'm going to leave that with you. So I want to charge myself. The minerals are important for all the reactions in the body. And they're important to maintain the acid-alkaline balance of the body. They're important for growth and they're important for energy. So maintaining this acid-alkaline balance, I'm going to share with you, some of the topics that are out there today. And everybody's talking about, I'm going to go through that list with you. Everybody's talking about alkaline water. Let's just talk about that. If we were supposed to drink alkaline water 24/7, spring water would have an alkaline pH, which is 8 or 9 or 10. It doesn't. It has a pH of 7.4, which is slightly alkaline. That is the pH of our blood. So let's always go back to and default back to nature, because that's where all the answers are. So we have spring water at pH 7. So what is the big deal about alkaline water? Some people, I mean, I've got a machine that makes pH of 12. And it's like a bomb, apparently. I've never even used it. There's a special nozzle at the top that does that. So you can momentarily boost your alkalinity with alkaline water. It's not going to stay like that. And if you overdo it, you're going to put your body alignment out completely. So it's a kind of a superficial fix, if you can put it that way. So healing doesn't happen with the water that you sip, it happens with the minerals at a cellular level inside you. The tissues, the organs, and the mitochondria for that matter. So intracellular alkalinity is what I'm looking at. The NQB, the latest quantum medicine device, measures exactly what's going on inside the cell. So I'm able to, within 3 minutes, look at your oxygen, your hydrogen levels, hydration levels inside the cell. It tells me everything. Apart from that, I can look at your voltage, your charge, your adrenal charge, your life force. It tells me the life force too. And your brain amplitude, the wavelength, and the resistance to flow. So we are all electromagnetic batteries. And we got to put that light of ours has to shine as brightly as possible. Otherwise, we're going to have inflammation and pain, disorder, dis-ease. And we've got to therefore balance this terrain of the body. Alkaline water, as I said to you, will improve, but momentarily. We need to get an ongoing, sustainable shift. And we've got to maintain that blood pH of 7.4. Otherwise, we rob the bones. And it's just about categorical. I would say 95% of the people that come in are mineral deficient inside their bones. Their bones are softening. There's osteoarthritis. There's also rheumatoid arthritis. There's also calcification. There's also bone hyperplasia. That's the cells changing. When the bones are diseased, you know there's long-term acidity. You know there's long-term low alkalinity. You know there's parasites. So that takes the longest. The bone cells take the longest to divide. So the bone's going to take a long time to repair. Anyway, we do it. We get there. We've got lots in the 365 Healthy by Choice toolkit to get where we need to. I think by now, after over 15 years of really focusing and more since I completed my pharmacy degree in 1984, I think I've been able to put 2 and 2 together here regarding health, and knowing, sitting in that pharmacy class, that the paradigm that I was learning was not the paradigm I wanted to heal people. There was discord within me. And I was saying to somebody today, the amount of times I wrote disease of unknown etiology, that means disease of unknown cause. So things just happen. There's no cause, unknown. And I just thought, that's ridiculous. How can you expect me to keep writing this? So I set about finding the cause of disease, and I thank them for that, gratefully. So let's get the mineral terrain right and the electromagnetic chemical mix correct in the body. And let's start off by having a look at what disrupts alkalinity. So first of all, mineral loss. And what's going to cause that? Chronic stress. I just mentioned that earlier. Caffeine, alcohol, diuretic, sweating without replenishment. Beware of that. Be very aware of that. I meet many people that are like that. I mean, a guy came in here and he was a long distance runner. And I looked at the readings and I thought, this guy needs some electrical charge. The minerals are flat, apart from malabsorption and all those things. And I went and got the Himalayan salt, and he had his water bottle on the table. And with a teaspoon, I said, here, put some of this in your water bottle, and stop when you reach a level that your tongue tells you this, that's how much you need. Well, I promise you, he was putting in teaspoons. And he just said to me, I can't believe this, Jane. This is tasting like an elixir. And it was plain old Himalayan salt, respectfully, full of minerals. And he just said, I'm going to tell all my friends. He said, we're all suffering from this. So imagine people that are saunaing all the time, sweating in outside in the sun. You need to replace this. Low stomach acid, which is a very big problem. It's going to impair mineral absorption and, in fact, digestion. So, we need to make sure that we're not acid in the body, because if we're acid in the body, we're going to be alkaline in the stomach. We're not going to be able to digest. So I'm coming to that. Electromagnetic frequencies, not grounding, results in a weak cell membrane with a low voltage. And that's a very big problem, because that disrupts our charge. If we don't have the right voltage around the cell membrane, we're not going to absorb food. Flaxseed oil is critical. It gives you an electrical potential. But then the calcium, the sodium, the potassium, the sodium potassium pump, and all the other minerals, magnesium and that hover on the intracellular and extracellular come into play. And that happens in the gut. It happens everywhere. Very, very important to have a proper charge on the cell membrane. And then we get our friends, the molds and the infections and the parasites, and really causing chronic acidity, low immunity, lots of byproducts accumulating, toxins accumulating, and colonies just growing out of all proportion. Heavy metals have got their space as well. We breathe it in, we eat them, we drink them. We touch them. So got to be very, very careful, because they will definitely have an acidic effect on us. And toxicity also attracts parasites. And it's going to slow down the energy and the ability of the mitochondria to do their job, and the ability of ATP to be produced, and will also affect the kidneys. Now we're coming on to another subject, which is shallow breathing. I was speaking about that today. I was doing a presentation early at one of the top health pharmacies in the country, and I'm talking, in fact, about the lungs and breathing and alkalinity and oxygen levels in the body. And many people shallow breathe. We lose sight of the fact that there are two major balloons on the left and the right of us, from our shoulders almost down to below our rib cage. It's huge. We have to have a huge breath, and we need to get the breathing right, because shallow breathing is going to result in carbon dioxide remaining in our lungs, affecting the lung volume capacity, and that acidity will go back into the blood and the rest of the body. So we can't have that. Shallow breathing. Mouth breathing, that's another thing. The sinuses are so blocked, we have to open our mouth to breathe. Check yourself. Check yourself if you clench your jaw. It's called TMJ. Now, you clench your jaw, your neck's going to be sore, so will your shoulders, and so will your lower back. Sometimes people even get sciatica. The problem is here, stress. And poor posture. So many of us sit for long hours, and we don't exercise either. So when the body's under attack, emotionally or physically, it becomes acidic. So those opportunities that we attract need to be seen as opportunities and not threats. Why is it here? What do I need to learn? That's the holistic ancestral orientation. Clearing of generational patterns, repeated patterns. So when we do go one day with very highly charged minerals, the bag of rocks that we've been carrying and the ancestors carried is empty. Come on, let's aim for that. I'm going to try. So all of these feeling unsafe, unsupported, ungrounded, low breathing, acid bodies and everything makes the body feel under attack and generate excess hydrogen ions, making the inside of your cells even more acidic. And that disrupts the ATP, CTP, GTP, and TTP, all four energy productions. And you're going to get slow enzyme reactions, increased oxidative stress, which can lead to chronic fatigue, brain fog, stiffness, poor healing capacity. That's probably 90% of the people that I see. So just know that as acid builds up in the cells, we get stagnation, and stagnation is the breeding ground for disease. So how do we get our cells alkaline? And this leading directly into the minerals. We have to restore the buffers and the cofactors and change carriers that regulate pH from within, not from what's poured in from the outside. So the pH is regulated within us. You're not going to sustain it with pouring alkaline water into you. In fact, I think that's dangerous because, as I said, that's not how water is supposed to be. The pH is supposed to be 7.4. It's easy to absorb. It gets absorbed. It's got a high wettability. And the different variety of water bottles that people bring in here, the pH is sometimes 6, sometimes less than 6. I mean, you're drinking acid water. I remember at one stage, one of the stores had a spring water, pH 4, 4.6 or something. You can wash dishes in that. That's close to vinegar. And they've since changed it, but they made the pH 8. It's also false. Spring water is 7.4, it's 7.4, it's 7.4, it's never changed. So we've got to have these kind of minerals. And I think you know them: sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, bicarbonate, boron, silica. These are all alkalinizers. I have all of them in the 365 Healthy by Choice toolkit. The boron's critical because it actually carries these minerals into the bone and into the areas, cells of the body. Very, very important. We don't need these trendy waters. I'm just alerting you. There's so much hype about it, but go back to nature every single time. Is this good for me? Is that good for me, Jane? Go back to nature. So minerals are important because they accept and they donate electrons. It's all about electron flow. And that's going to balance your acid and your base reactions. Maintain electrical gradients across the cell membrane. We need a minus 95 millivolts to be absolutely optimally healthy. 75 or 120, 115, or anything on either side of that is going to be disease. We want to drive hydration into the cell. And in the first place, you're going to need the microbiome reset because that has got hydrolyzing enzymes for the absorption of water and oxidizing enzymes for the absorption of oxygen from the lungs. And I found that out by default. So very important there that we get this electrical gradient, and the minerals are going to do it for us. For example, the sodium-potassium pump. But we've got a calcium-magnesium interchange as well as all of these ones that I mentioned to you now. So then we want to fuel that mitochondrial activity, enable toxin elimination through bile, sweat, urine, and through stools. So when you're mineral deficient, your mitochondria are dim. Who wants that? Who wants a dim globe, a dim light? Your tissues hold on to the acid and your inner terrain becomes less conductive, making healing harder and detox less efficient. So it's quite easy for us to restore health into somebody because we bring up the charge. It's not brain surgeon stuff. You know, you don't have to study for 7 years to understand this. This is the body mechanics. I mean, even if you're using, for example, our skin range, the Rejuvenate Gold Skin range, what am I doing here? It's conductivity between the cells, cellular communication. It's about the minerals. You know, and the brain also, we need proper regulation, across the blood-brain barrier. Otherwise, we're going to just slow down. And we increase neuroinflammation, pain. A lady called me and wanted the skio done. She's got huge headaches. So, well, you've got to make sure your gut's clean, first of all. and stop what you're eating. Are you breathing? And this is like a checklist. I hope you're taking notes, because we've got to get this right. And I kept saying to her, please fast. Just fast. I don't care if it's a green juice fast or whatever, but fast. Stop eating what you're eating. And I know her lifestyle. Most people are wanting that bottle, that intravenous, God knows what, therapy. It's not about that. Where's that special water? I'm going to buy 60 liters of that special water. No. Go to your nearest spring and fill up your container. Spring water's got a wettability I mentioned earlier. If you hold it in your mouth, it feels like oil. And it doesn't spill like normal water spills. So we want to get magnesium from magnesium malate. Absolutely perfect. It's in our store. And the malate's going to decalcify you, and the magnesium is going to give you massive amounts of energy. It's going to ward off calcification. And potassium, leafy greens, coconut water, cream of tartar, aloe vera, all in our stable. Sodium, sea salt, adrenal cocktails, but not table salt because it's iodized. Bicarbonate, easy. Put your finger in the bicarbonate, put it in your mouth. You'll change your acidity immediately. Lots of lemon water, lime water if you prefer. And also, this is the thing. Jane, in fact, the store owner asked me to produce a list of someone who's deficient in any of these individually. What should they take? And I said, it doesn't work like that. What supplements must they take? It doesn't work like that. We need to eat a variety of nutrients, nutrient-dense foods. And I'm always going to refer to pollens, algae, medicinal mushrooms, organic sprouts, organic seeds and nuts, because they have the nutrients exactly as nature intended, and ones that haven't even been discovered. They're not even in the textbooks. You can't live off a magnesium supplement. You want to take the foods. I'm always going to go to food state. So we have to get out of that reductive paradigm and move to holism. If we want to treat our body, if we see ourselves as holistic, integrated, interdependent. And I'm going to say to you something, it might sound contrary, but if your vitamin A levels are extremely low, or your vitamin K levels are extremely low, and it measures on my thing here, I can give it to you in electrical magnetic frequency through the NQB. And we can get it through foods. But for 1 month, we might have to just use something semi-synthetic, maybe not, food state anyway, to boost these levels. So if it's vitamin K, you're going to look at domestic mushrooms, you're going to look at cabbage, fermented cabbage, you're going to look at raw butter, kelp. Kelp is vitamin D. You're going to look at those 3 things and you're going to get your vitamin K. And if you find you're not picking it up, you might have to just supplement for that 1 month. Just saying. And the vitamin D's you're going to get from kelp. You're going to get it from medicinal mushrooms. All you have to do is swallow a reishi mushroom and a capsule and go and step out in the sun. The sun's going to interact with the ergosterol in the medicinal mushroom and make vitamin D for you, free, normal, how the body needs it, not anyway synthetic. So, vitamin C is the same. There's plenty amounts of fruits available. Even trifala, it's loaded with vitamin C, 3 fruits and enzymes and everything. So everything's available out there. So we want to get out of the reductive mind of replacing mineral for mineral. I do have it, like I said, because in some cases, bodies are too weak and I have to lift them up quickly. And I'm grateful for able to do that, but it's all in the natural state. And I do have an alkaline replenishing electrolyte with boron and the Himalayan salt, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and all of those trace minerals. Oxygen is the most powerful alkalinizer. One of my favorite, almost an oxygen and DMSO. I'll throw that in. Microbiome reset, flaxseed oil. I don't know where to stop. We need it. We need oxygen. It's the most efficient fuel. It's a nutrient. Well, you've got to breathe and you're feeding yourself. The voltage is 130. The voltage of the oxygen we use is 95 millivolts. It's tinier. It's less than a breath, the charge of the breath. Ozone's 230. It's too high. Damages cells. So the cells will produce enough energy through breath and get a high yield. That's hopefully that your lungs aren't diseased or showing disorder. Because if you've got a slimy mold or a mycoplasma or a blastomycosis or something living in your lungs and growing over the surface area, you're not going to be able to take a full breath, even if you try. It's not going to happen. So you're just running on empty all the time. Low electron flow, and it's just downward cycling. Downward, and then the next thing you buy one of those oxygen sleeping machines. And how are you ever going to get off that? You're going to need help. So as we respire, the oxygen comes in and we create water and carbon dioxide as byproducts, easily eliminated. In low oxygen states, shallow breathing, poor circulation, chronic infection, stagnant lymph, the cells will switch to anaerobic fermentation, generating lactic acid, and that is pain and stiffness, inflammation, acid. And that's what we see in degenerative cells, hypoxia. So we've got to reverse this very quickly in those people, and all those testimonies that I write and case studies. That's what we're busy doing. Whether we have to rub things on to get absorbed through the skin, whether they can take it orally through a straw, however we do it, we get it sorted out. So oxygen is going to help us burn the acid waste, fuel the liver's phase 1 reactions, support immune cell activation, alkalinize the tissues via enhanced mitochondrial ATP production. So then it's almost like you've got that slimy green swimming pool and you throw the oxygen in and suddenly you've got this beautiful turquoise blue pool, sky blue pool. That's you. We're moving from slimy, muddy, dark green, alkaline, algae-filled, infected pool to a sparkling blue pool with life force, with energy. That's why we need the oxygen. And the breath is the bridge, because in interaction between the pH and the nervous system. And then stress. Let's just have a look at stress. Most people live in a sympathetic, dominant nervous system state. That means they're running from the line 24/7, waking up early and can't sleep. It's just an ongoing external focused view of life instead of internal, quiet, passive, balanced between passive and active, balance between everything. And, enabling the wastes to leave. And you need the parasympathetic nervous system to do that. That's the time to be quiet, the time to allow circulation, elimination, even digestion of food. And there's lots of ways to sort the breathing out. There's exercises. You just have to go onto Google and see the pranayama breathing. And I wouldn't get involved in counting and all of that. I think that becomes a logical thing again. You want to let the brain go away. And automatically your breathing slows down. Start with 5 minutes, go to 10, 15, 20. Put your phone on airport mode and time yourself so that you can get used to it. Shiatsu yoga, those are all exercises that are actually breathing exercises, by the way. And definitely close your mouth when you're breathing. Now it's time for a bit of discussion on the kidneys. apart from balancing positivity and negativity, which is what the kidneys do. So if you've got a urine that's full of sugar, you are excreting your joy. You're not holding on to it, for example. But they're also going to be totally regulating the pH. And at every moment, your kidneys are deciding whether they're going to hold on to the hydrogen ions or not, whether to dump them. So they're either going to make the bicarb and buffer the body or not. So when we're burdened by these toxins, when the resistance to flow is too high, it's very difficult to maintain intracellular pH. Acid builds up, electrolytes, mineral levels shift, and mitochondria really do suffer. The mitochondria are bacteria anyway, eukaryotes, just to tell you. So they need a proper pH to live in the first place. Never mind only produce energy for us. And then it's just a downward spiral, oxidative stress, brain fog, poor concentration, fluid retention, poor blood flow, and just straightforward stagnation. The battery just collapses. So without healthy kidneys, we don't have an alkaline reserve. And it's like bailing out water out of a boat, and it's never ending. You're just not getting there. And the kidneys eventually get exhausted. I've got clients at the moment, one with 12% kidney capacity and another one with 22%. Can you believe it? Kidneys, the organ of fear. So we got to sort that out always. And the adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, and they're the ones that charge the battery. So we need lots of stress adaptogens brought in here. Lots of oxygen, which is calming. Lots of almost gold, also calming. But charging the body. Shilajit, Irish sea moss, Himalayan salt. And I'll show you some more just now to remind you. So to support the kidneys now, to support your internal pH balance, mineral-rich water, very, very important. And remember to sip your water, and people just glug it down. It's not how it's supposed to be. And actually sit down when you drink. To be standing and drinking, driving and drinking, it's just a no-no. You know, it's an assault on the body to eat or drink standing up. We need to sit down and let it get ready to absorb water. And we need those trace minerals to help absorption, along with the enzymes, along with the flaxseed oil. And other lovely things that alkalinize the body would be lemon or lime. Remember that high protein diet produces a lot of acidic nitrogen waste. So if you are very, very acidic, you know, and have kidney problems, it would be a good idea to definitely reduce red meat. Alcohol, heated oil, very big problems, insecticides, the glycophosphates, environmental chemicals, all big problems that are going to burden the kidneys. And you start then calcifying, and that's when you start getting stones. Not only in the kidneys, it'll be everywhere. You'll develop gallstones, kidney stones, plaque on the inside of the vessel, plaque on the bones, calcification on the bones, calcification in the head, calcification in the prostate. And you become a calcified, gravity-tuned-in person instead of balancing your levity and your gravity. So oxygen helps there. Almost gold is a levitational substance. DMSO is a levitational substance. So these things are working so wisely to maintain the balance. You know, even our to balance the chi, you need a balance between the jing and the you know, the rest of the body. The jing and the chi need to be balanced to get the shen. That's traditional Chinese medicine. Levity and gravity need to be in balance. Stimulation and anti-stimulation. So cacao and macuna bean need to be in balance. My brain fuel is balanced. formulated specially, and any of my products, I've balanced them so that they don't put the body out of balance on any level, not only acid alkaline, also levitational and gravitational. And good herbs for the kidneys, the dandelion, stinging nettle especially, horsetail, lots of silica there, the para-immune defense, Chancapedra, wonderful for the kidneys. And if you've got big problems, put a castor oil pack on at night and put the DMSO on in the daytime. And I've also got a lymphatic drainage product, which got lots of cat's claw, chasteberry in it, in particular, goldenrod and so on, and very important for drainage. So we want to really restore the electromagnetic chemical status of the body internally, do things that create inner alchemy and free us from a very acidic terrain, and breathe properly so that we have a high oxygen level. That little oximeter that people use, you need to be on 98%, because anything lower than that, in the cell, you're going to be lower than optimum, which is lower than 85% inside the cell. 96 is too low. You're sitting on about 75% in the cell. It's too low. 25% oxygen, not there. Can't happen. So we've got to always look after ourselves, and these are the markers which we can measure and restore the electrical integrity inside of us, the mineral saturation, the oxygen flow, the functioning of the organs, making sure that the cells are in permanent recharge. So I said to you earlier, I'm in permanent reset, and I need a body that's in permanent recharge, because otherwise the battery dissipates. What happens when you leave the car door open overnight? The car battery's flat. It's dissipated. It's kind of like that. Make sure the doors are closed, and make sure you're charging yourself all the time and building that inner terrain, not only with microbes, but with the pH. And, and when you've got oxygen and you alkaline, you can detox anything. You can neutralize. We need those minerals. So I'm going to show you some more, just a refresher on some of the minerals. And I've talked through that, which was the main aim here. We've got the almost golds, and this is the flagship. It's the platinum precious metal minerals, the superchargers, the superconductors of electricity. So we need copper. Yes, we do, but we also need gold and silver and platinum and nickel and cobalt and osmium and ruthenium and palladium, iridium. We need all of them. I don't know why I've talked about this for the last 20 years. I don't know why people aren't queuing to buy almost gold. And look, if we're going to do something, at least do something, but do a bit of copper. But remember, copper is going to cause a problem with the zinc. So in COVID, everybody ran out and got zinc, and the copper levels dropped, which is just terrible, because the battery charge went and the ability to absorb iron went. So there's a big deficiency in iron during the COVID time. You see, you need copper and vitamin C to get iron absorbed. So be careful of reductive. I'll do it because I know I'm measuring them in a month, and I know that I can just bring up that charge with elemental copper or the copper in the almost gold for a short time. Only the alkalinizing replenish electrolytes with boron, and here they all are sitting. I mentioned them to you earlier. Silica, I'm going to use diatomaceous earth or horsetail. That also needs to come through. And then we've got these other ones, super absorbing calcium. This is the win because it's inorganic calcium. So you might be saying to yourself, whoa, what is Jane talking about here? We can't absorb inorganic calcium. That's absolutely true. So this is very special, and there's a very special recipe there, and we use it with yogurt, with live cultures, and we convert the inorganic calcium into organic calcium. The cultures do it for us. The microbes do it for us. We get absorption like that. If you don't do that and you're constantly on your calcium this and your calcium that and your slow this and everything, you are taking elemental calcium, and it's going to calcify you even more, even worse. So here's an inexpensive way of bringing in calcium. And sometimes those bones are so weak and they're sore. Tartaric acid is our potassium answer. So for high blood pressure, you want that tartaric acid. For low blood pressure, you want the calcium. High blood pressure is stress. Low blood pressure is lack of joy. In the magnesium malate there, calcium, magnesium, potassium. So we've got an option here of elemental. In the electrolytes, we've actually got energetic minerals here. So wow. There's the elemental. Now we're moving on to other ones. We need iodine. We need DMSO. We need the sulfur, especially. Plant tree sap. MSM will also carry it. Sulfur. And we need the iodine for every single receptor site. And the thyroid, and metabolism, and to kill parasites. And the doses are higher than what they recommend. You can take them. We've got an RUC moss here with 92 minerals. Wonderful for mucous membranes, the lung, the gut, the reproductive. Those are other things that it does. So again, let's get back to nature. It's all there for us. Lots of choices. Shilajit, one of my favorites because it gives you energy. People are needing energy, so therefore it's charging you. If you're getting energy, you know it's charging you. So go to the website, the 365 Healthy by Choice website. We have got a sale on at the moment. Some of the top 10 ordered products, online orders, which is a little bit different to what I would directly recommend, but there's still huge merit in that. It's interesting to see what people buy. And it's the cell oxygen, the DMSO, the flaxseed, the microbiome reset, the nose and the eye DMSO, the parastop, the zeolite, chunkapiedra for calcification. So they have heard what I'm talking about and they are buying that, which is fantastic. So Shilajit I absolutely love. And I just wanted to end off by sharing with you the info on the 365 products, pure, natural, and unique, food state, plant-based, quantum state, nutrient dense. And would you want more than that? I've uniquely blended these things to increase potentiation. And what potentiation means 1 + 1 is 3. 3 + 3 is 9. So less is more, actually. And that's what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you this very important and crucial element. Charging our body, and our body needs to be alkaline. Full of air, full of electrical charge, full of life force, full of prana, full of chi. And then we can look out and not feel like we're drowning and pulling at straws and where are we, but rather look out and, view what's going on really. So if there are special questions, let me know. You can direct message me, you can email me. and go and have a look at those on sale items and the rest of the products I've mentioned here and see for yourself. You remember, physician heal thyself. I can only show, educate. You're going to do the rest. And those are the people I honor. The people who've trusted in themselves. Their guts made sense of what they've heard, and they're on their own path. I can't pull you along. And I don't want to. So with that, I'm going to leave it, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.